Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we will review 4 horror mods I have played through recently using the Wabbajack mod list, Whispering Chills. All 4 of these mods took around 45 to 60 minutes to complete on survival mode and took my character across the Commonwealth, providing high quality scares via new quests and locations. Tell me in the comments section what you like your mods to add to your game. Now, let's begin. The Kelly Manor horror quest by Mawber brings one to an abandoned castle where one learns of a supernatural girl. One progressively learns how her powers protected her family from the bombs, but unfortunately for them, her abilities also permitted her to do some highly sadistic things. This mod was emotionally engaging. Who would not care about a little girl? It took advantage of this engagement to terrify the player. The horror was more subtle than overt, with the horror conveyed by notes. The only point of improvement I had for it was that there was an issue with progression at one point, and the final area was not the most intuitive to navigate. Aside from these points, it was reasonably high-quality experience. Kelly Mawber by Manor adds a creepy quest where one is invited by a little girl to an abandoned mansion, so 2 major horror red flags. As one moves through the estate, one learns what happened to its occupants and why there are skeletons and fluids on the floor and walls. I like that this mod effectively created atmospheric horror, even without monsters or horrifying things happening. The story was told by well-spaced out notes and finished with a cutscene culminating the story. It let your imagination fill in the blanks on what happened, which in my mind is a particularly effective form of horror, as it manifests as what your imagination finds scary, rather than the author's. On finishing the story, you get a custom weapon that is well-powered and an artsy addition to your armory. My only criticism of the mod is that you're forced into a specific action in that mentioned final cutscene, which took away my player choice. Overall, this was a very satisfying mod that you should definitely try out. Claustrophobia by Supernath97 introduces a condemned apartment building that you explore. You gradually explore each building floor, reading notes to learn more about the horrors that happened there. Without spoilers, this involved some experiments gone wrong that you're ultimately faced with at the end. What the mod did well was create a sense of mystery and vagueness that, like Kelly Mawber, let your imagination fill in the blanks a bit. There are more scripted events in this mod, such as mannequins moving location when you're not looking at them, which was unsettling and well-timed. Finally, there was a custom Deathclaw texture that was very impressive. As for what the mod could improve, the quest end brought you to the same area as a number of those mentioned experiments. There was nothing particularly notable about these enemies. They were zombies, so they were more irritating than scary as I tried to find a way out. Having fewer of these zombies or fewer steps to get out of the basement would have likely resolved this more lackluster ending. Overall, the mod was enjoyable, though the somewhat bland conclusion took away from an otherwise memorable experience. In my opinion, Vault 1080 by Exodus 13 was probably the scariest mod out of these 3. One is tasked with finding a new location and ultimately discovers the Church of the Valley. You learn that a vault, Vault 80, was built under this church, and the quest involves ascertaining the horror that unfolded there in light of the nuclear apocalypse. This mod was especially scary because there were enough elements to make it believable and plausible. A well-meaning pastor took the atomic war as a sign that he and his congregation had to change, and ultimately he chose a dark path. Horrifying actions by well-intentioned individuals personally frighten me, likely because we see this in our world to pretty detrimental effect. While learning of experiments gone wrong in claustrophobia let my imagination run wild, it was easy to shrug off that horror because it's so clearly fiction. Personal and more human stories associated with fiction, like in this mod, can have a much more significant impact because there's part of you that can imagine it actually coming true, given the right circumstances. Mannequins teleporting places can be scary, but it's not really realistic. My only criticism of this mod was that it was not intuitive to check the mailbox to start the quest at the map location. In addition, there were some performance issues due to particular visual effects they were trying to go for this, but it didn't particularly take away from the mod. Aside from these issues, everyone interested in horror mods should check this one out, no question. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay aware of the great work being put out by these mod authors. I'll be putting out a review for Whispering Chills and the remaining mods once I finish them. If there's a particular mod list that you would like to see next, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will likely move on to an Elder Scrolls Oblivion mod list next, as it has been a little while since I have played it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.